My name is Leslie Bonci. I am a registered dietitian and I spend a lot of my time working with athletes. I work with the Pittsburgh Pirates, Toronto Blue Jays, Washington Nationals, Pittsburgh Penguins, the Pittsburgh Ballet Theater, the WNBA, and the University of Pittsburgh. Because I work primarily in sports, what I do is help my athletes on an individual basis with performance-enhancing behaviors with eating to help their strength, speed, stamina, recovery, if they're looking to change their physique, if they have other underlying medical issues, and just generally getting them to eat well. The reason that we talk about California dried plums being the whole package is, number one, the health benefits. We are talking heart health. We are talking digestive health. We are talking bone health. Number two, it is about satisfaction. You can get a lot with a dried plum, and primarily from the standpoint of keeping you fuller between meals. Number three, the nutritional composition of the dried plum itself. It has fiber, it has vitamins, it has minerals, and when you put this all together, we have taste, we have health benefits, it keeps us feeling fuller for longer. You can do this with 4 to 5 dried plums, 100 calories. That, to me, is an entire package. When we talk about satiety, satiety is basically what allows us to feel more satisfied between meals. And so perhaps we do a little less foraging or over-consuming at the end of the day. And because dried plums actually have the wonderful sweet taste factor, and there actually have been some studies that have looked at satiety as well, using dried plums in place of other comparable calorie items and finding that dried plums have a little bit more staying power. And staying power is a very, very good thing. There are a few benefits of dried plums for heart health. One of them is because the soluble fiber in the dried plum may be very beneficial for helping to lower the cholesterol, but in addition, the phytonutrients or plant nutrients within the dried plums may have a role to play in terms of preventing some of the hardening of the arteries and therefore lowering the risk of heart disease and heart attack overall. From the bone health perspective, there are a lot of substances within the dried plums that may help to support healthy bones. And kind of thinking out of the refrigerator, so to speak, people just focus on certain items for bone health. The reality is that we have now another item to be able to choose that may have an impact on bones. I work with a lot of young people, and unfortunately, I have had clients in my office who already have osteopenia. Their bones are already starting to soften at a very young age. Part of that is because of the way they've eaten, restrictive diet. Part of that is they might be inadequate in certain nutrients. But a lot of times people think the solution is very easy. Just take calcium and call it a day. And not true. There are a lot of things that support bone health, and protein being one of those, calcium, vitamin D, boron, which is in the dried plum, vitamin K, which is in the dried plum. So we really need a whole village to build a healthy bone. That's what happens at the end of the day, much more than just something out of the medicine cabinet. One of the things I love about dried plums is they are so incredibly versatile, so they lend themselves to a sweet or a savory application. So very easy way of using them, thinking about a trail mix, or throwing them into a salad, or throwing them into a pilaf or a quinoa. So you have this range of sweet and chewy and savory and crunchy. The nice thing about them, they don't discriminate. Because they're sweet, you can cut down on having to add other sugar. Or when you puree them and use them that way, and even in a dessert, you may be able to cut down on adding the fat. So it's a wonderful substitute. You're adding in the nutrients, you're taking away what you don't want, and you're leaving all the pleasure behind. This is a no-effort food. And so many of my patients that I work with, if it isn't easy, they're not going to do it. If you have to peel it, if you have to wash it, forget it. Dried plum, open, insert, good. It's a very, very good thing, and they taste great. I think California dried plums are great as a snack because it's a stand-alone food. So easy. Open bag, reach in, grab, done. You've got the sweet, you've got the chewy, you have that satiety, that feeling of satisfied over a longer period of time. What more could we ask for? And 4 to 5 for 100 calories, hello, I'm there.